Over and done with. We head on to map number 2. This is where LDLC have to put up a better fight.
Is it kind of like a foul ball in tennis where you're allowed to swing again and take another serve?
Yeah, but they've already been penalized. That's the issue.
I see.
Yeah, one more foul and they're out here. I'm afraid it's LDLC fighting on Inferno. It is their map pick, one they should be doing a little better on, but they clearly didn't have anything up their sleeve on Vertigo. So we're here on Inferno, seeing if they can somehow rectify the issues.
Yeah, they'll at least get to start on the CT side as well, so provided everything is in order, good sign for them. The easier of the two, at least in terms of just accumulating rounds and applying pressure to your opponent. And Endpoint are playing the round out slowly, making sure that LDLC don't go for any sort of gimmicky stack or pushing into the apartments too early on into the round. Good damage done over towards Hachi, towards B, and I think Thomas, he knows he's done the damage and he wants to track down that frag. I mean, being held back by his coaches at the moment. Endpoint instead making short waves over towards the A site. Archers have been exposed, and they're actually not moving to wrap the site as of yet.
No, not just yet. Sixer is playing back in library. You've got Gringo in the site itself to try and assist him. Robin with 1 kill, taking down Sixer. Now Gringo looking for the lineup. This is what we wanted to see from him on Vertigo, but it didn't happen. Oh. That's a disgusting 4K coming in from Gringo. And now it's all on Mighty Max. And I did say he impressed me, and finally he's delivering upon that. 4 beautiful kills coming into the pistol here for LDLC, and they're off to the good start.
Yeah, that's a fantastic round from Gringo. Like you said, a bit quiet on the first map. Most of the LDLC side were. But coming out with that on your own map pick to try and bounce back as well, bring it to a 3-map series. Especially being one of the more unanswered or, I suppose, unknown elements of this LDLC squad. It's a great sort of morale booster for you and the squad. Just pistols for Endpoint. No real utility either. So the singular flash deployed over towards Banana. They seem to be barreling in towards Logan. They're in fact just running through a smoke to try and chase him down, and they'll succeed. Not before Lambert gets a kill and backs himself off. Gets the 3K in the end. LDLC deal the damage they want to with the SMGs. They farm up that cash.
Well, they do indeed. Now Endpoint, with the AKs being purchased up, the utility coming through across the board now for the T side and over on LDLC. The 2 MP9, Sixer and Lambert wielding them for a little bit of a bonus upgrade perhaps here in this round. See how much money they can get moving into next, and there's a much better start for them. It's important that they get off to a good start here as well, because you want to come into Inferno, you want to build some momentum early on. You've just been absolutely destroyed on Vertigo, and it's not going to be good for your confidence. It's not going to be good for the team morale, so getting off to a good start here on Inferno is paramount, and well, it seems like they have, and winning a bonus round, that would be the cherry on top. And, you know, I don't really like cherries, so that doesn't really work for me, but, you know, it works for some people.
Sounds like a lose-lose for you.
Yeah, it is. I know Hulk loves cherries. He eats a pack of like cherry bakeballs a week, I think.
Oh my days.
Yeah, disgusting.
That cannot be healthy.
No, it's not.
Well, at least it's a healthy investment from Endpoint in this round. Good control over towards B. They force LDLC back towards the sites. Haji only has a FAMAS in the pit, which, although it may not seem like much of a hindrance, given the distance that pit angle it faces and the accuracy required, that gun sometimes does not perform. Still a lot of time chewed off the clock, and Endpoint haven't shown clear indication as to which site they're going to, but with the smoke down at library, you should begin to ring some alarm bells over towards A, and it's forced the rotation off. Look at them creeping towards the B bomb site, and they have the archers as well. They're looking to siphon off this rotation and split B, and they found success. Now it's just the one player in Lambert to lock this B site down.
Well, Surreal is going to take down Lambert. Good headshot picked up from him as the Endpoint roster starts to take the B-bomb site by storm. 5 players alive into the round, and what's going to be a round picked up for them without much resistance. LDLC saving what they can into the next round. They have a little bit of bonus cash, but their buy is actually going to end up looking worse than Endpoint's. Because they didn't get a single kill in this round, Endpoint are going to come out on top going into the next. And this good start that we talked about for LDLC might be on the fringe of defeat here, because this is starting to look pretty good for Endpoint. Just after one gun round win. It's kind of strange how that happened.
Yeah, it's also a bit strange that given the opening that was available and the time left, they just fall back into the sites and let them take the archers for free. There's nobody close enough to even prevent any sort of wrapping play. There's no real support over it towards that B site. The A site players were just like, yeah, you know, you guys can handle it if they do decide to split spawn. That seemed a little too easy, and all in all. So now maybe they've gotten rid of one of these SMGs. Maybe it's a little better moving forward.
Well, we'll see if LDLC can post around here, or will Endpoint continue in finding success in gun runs, because they were certainly looking good in those on Vertigo, just dominating on the front. Endpoint now with everything they could possibly want. The thing about Crucial is he's also good on the AK, which is an important part, especially on Inferno. T side, the AWP can sometimes be a little bit more ineffective. So now having a good rifler in the form of Crucial as well is very solid. Just taking the time here, Endpoint. 3 players positioned early over towards A, 2 through the apartments, 1 in towards middle, just locking that down. While the bomb, actually, and Mighty Max in front of it, just kind of clearing top banana. They've got a lot of control here, Endpoint. LDLC going for a very passive setup. They don't have a whole lot of utility either, so they're going to have to use that quite sparingly.
And the fact Sixer's trapped in a corner, just trying to make use of the SMG up close. You'd assume this would get cleared by Endpoint. They've seen this smoke. They know it is eerily suspicious. They've even had the nade land right on top of Robin's head. Yeah, Sixer's in a bit of a predicament here. Has to let them through the arches because he can't really take these fights openly with the MP9, and this allows them to get wrapped onto the site. He's allowing these players to get shot from both sides, but they found a couple of trades right back on the CTs. All the meanwhile, Haji is pushed down short, wraps the apartments instead, and concedes the bomb site itself. This bomb can get planted, but a fast flank is available for LDLC on the retake.
Well, moving forward, Haji catching out Surreal this side of the pit. He looked down in towards the side itself, and it's Robin looking for the spray, but Haji gets rid of him. And now Thomas, a 1 versus 3. Walk up in towards the short position. Now looking towards pit, back up to the balcony. It's looking good for LDLC. Full stick coming through, and Thomas is going to be ended up losing this round. Defuse will come through. Sixer gets the kill anyway. And there's just too many angles there to check, too many players to cut through. And so LDLC go for the full defuse. It's going to be another round on the board. And that's a good one to win. Endpoint, if they pick that up, probably going on a little bit of a tear here, the side of their T side. LDLC find that. Endpoint back to a bye, but now they're on their last legs, economically speaking.
Yeah, no, really good timing from Haji. He really enables that entire retake to be as clean as it was for the LDLC side, even though the buy was somewhat limited in its utilities for LDLC in that round. See if they can cascade it into another round win. Of course, it's a full buy right back into this by Endpoint. They don't have the AWP. They don't quite have the same amount of utility, and they lose out the initial gunfights. Thomas and Crucial dealt with early on. Robin dealing with the push towards Banana. In fact, it was Max that fell. Robin found his kill elsewhere, but Haji once again has snaked his way into a really, really dangerous spot for these Endpoint players. Now that they know where Robin is, Haji could potentially deal with him. It's really about finding where Surreal has sort of wandered off to. He's defending the spawn.
Just locking it down. The bomb is there with him. Haji coming around the backside though. Coming down the stairs. It's Robin. Just out to his left. He's going to take this easy kill there, Haji. And now it's all on the Surreal. Alone in the world. Trying to get it done on his own. But Sixer, there's a bullet right through him. And now it's going to be 4-1. LDLC. That's much better from them. And well, the odds for Unicorn. Still not great for LDLC, I have to say. 6.5 to 1.11. But if you're fancying LDLC's chances, they have pulled an upset yesterday in a similar scenario where they lost the first map very, very convincingly. Then went on to reverse sweep. So if you're feeling lucky, you're an LDLC fan, head over to Unicorn. Pretty decent odds for you if you are there. I wouldn't personally, but you know, you can have your say.
So the first time now we get to see Endpoint on these pistols. Utility is available. They can throw this towards spawn, throw it over towards the coffins as well. There's nobody really there to spot out the initial push from LDLC. The flash is good. Surreal able to get the first with the deagle. Lambert still close with this MP9 as well, but it's a drive-by by Robin. Sixer at the very least, two, one through the edge of the smoke, one with the nade. Does bring it to a man advantage alongside Haji.
Well, Sixer has a bit of an angle here, but Robin now alone in the world. He's up on top. He's 15 HP, and while moving through, he'll catch a chance on the Sixer, but the USP in hand, easily taking down Robin. The low HP was just enough to get the round win here for LDLC, 5-1. Bomb plant though for Endpoint, they'll not be too disappointed about that, and they've got a lot of money in the back pocket as well, so AWP going out for Crucial. And again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Hellcase Hell Cup number 8, and you can go over to Hellcase and use SLTV code for extra money on your account. So use SLTV15, that's the code, head over and you can get yourself a 15% refill bonus.
I do appreciate that dynamic prize pool that we've got going on.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Very sort of like mini. I was saying it to Cody earlier, but mini international, the compendium type thing.
Oh yeah, it's kind of cool. I like it. Definitely started at 10k, I think. We're 19k now, so nearly a double in the prize pool already.
Low crowdfunding.
And it's day 2.
Yeah.
It's not quite the numbers of the international though.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet. It's early.
It'd be kind of funny if we suddenly had so much money added to the account here that it became bigger than the prize pool major the major. That would be kind of funny. But yeah, Robin and Surreal now into a 2 versus 5. This has not gone well for Endpoint. You know, we've been talking about the prize pool and all that, but Endpoint just getting absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, it's about 30 seconds into the round. They fought for B-side control, and LDLC are there with 2 players just fighting it. And they're willing to take those fights over and over. The past few rounds when Endpoint have been taking banana control, it's been given up for free almost every single time. And only during the pistol and maybe one of their gun rounds, they've sort of forced them back. But when LDLC have stayed and fought, they've come out ahead, and that remains to be true. Haji in the off angle could do a lot of damage. The smoke doesn't bloom correctly either, and well, he gets both kills in the end. A huge gap in the smoke, even if they did want to cross CT. Endpoint caught with a pretty poor round. I do wonder at what point Endpoint may employ the AWP, because it sort of reaches a breaking point where you're losing so many rounds, you may want to play it out slower like that.
Yeah, well, it becomes an economic factor as well, right? Because you don't have too much money in the bank this round, but I would potentially see it in the later stages of this T-half to see if they can pull it through. Logan in behind the sandbags. Utility is going to be used up, and well, not really getting to see what's happening just yet, but Mighty Max looking over the top of the smoke will eventually spot Logan, and that's going to be the man advantage in play for Endpoint.
Yeah, good control over towards B this time around. Able to isolate that sandbags player, and all the meanwhile, Robin has gotten themselves into the apartments as well. There's still a lot of options open for Endpoint. Bracket still needs to be cleared. Those are the trifecta of positions you really want as a T side. All of these smokes over. There's still a close cubby. Haji has been in great positions time and time again. He gets the first and is able to deploy the smoke, but unable to retreat. Shot through the smoke. And Crucial's to blame. Lambert's giving them a good name. 2 kills through the smoke. Just as they attempt to emerge from it, Crucial and Surreal are all that's left of the push here from Endpoint, and Gringo still on the site unchecked. They have to know this is a possibility. Surreal's cleared out most of the pit, most of the site as well. This is the only uncleared angle. Oh.
Well, Surreal, nice little double coming in now as he heads towards the site. 1v1, 10 seconds, not a whole lot of time to be trying to think about what he needs to do here. Sixer is going to walk up. Surreal caught in the corner, needs to hit the immediate headshot. And well, Sixer will make it happen. Goes with a little bit of BM spray in the end as well. Gathers his AWP in a 7th round for LDLC.
Yeah, great stuff from them so far in this CT side. We're seeing something that seemed to be lacking from Vertigo, and it goes back to what we were saying about them not being prepared for the map, is that the rotations are just so much better, so much more cohesive. They're flashing on their rotations, throwing smokes and molotovs for each other as well, and just peeking the angles that they know that they can fight because it's a much more familiar battleground for them. Whereas on Vertigo, everything was very disjointed, and although they seemed like they had smokes lined up or certain flashes lined up, weren't quite sure what to do with them. Endpoint looking a little lost to start off this half. It's not like they're not getting control. It's just, it goes back to what we were saying on Vertigo as well. The duels are just so in favor of one side as opposed to this sort of back and forth trade game that we get used to seeing.
It's actually kind of nice to see LDLC actually be able to play a little bit here.
Yeah.
And we kind of just getting wrecked by Endpoint over and over again. But now Endpoint struggling on their T side. LDLC showing up. It's been a lot of close rounds that could have went either way, but LDLC have been winning the clutches. Doesn't matter how they win the rounds, but certainly it matters that they win the rounds. LDLC going to rotate over. 3 players currently positioned on the B-bomb side. 2 players in the front. The bomb as well positioned over there alongside 3 players, and a 4th coming over as well. So tucked in on the site. They're very, very passive here on the CT side. So they don't have plenty of info about what's going on at the moment.
This will be the second round that Endpoint have gone back, or second time that Endpoint have gone back to this sort of fake presence A, go B. Last time round, they had a very open bomb site. This time it's Sixer with the ult to try and stop them from getting in. God. First shot missed. The smoke as well now prevents him from getting in any free shots on these Endpoint players. This bomb should be able to get planted, but it'll be a 5-on-5 retake.
Yeah, it's one of those rare occasions where no one dies in the round, but Sixer is getting desperately close. He's nearly picked off a couple of players, but nearly is not enough. And look at Surreal. We've seen him in this position on Vertigo. He loves to get behind them, and he might just get a chance here to shut them down, but he needs to move quickly. Gringo's just shut down Thomas, and now the advantage is gone. Haji coming around the backside, but Surreal's going to catch him. Now they look. He just needs to stay alive, draw the attention towards him, be a thorn in their side, and that's exactly what he's doing. Shutting down Gringo, Robin and Mighty Max finding the kills, and his job done. It's the player that should have been the first to fall is now the last remaining. Sixer here in the ruins. The AWP will finally get a kill, but it's completely too late. And the round is done. It's Endpoint walking away with 2. Sixer stuck inside the B-bomb site here as well. He is going to be saving, or trying to save, but the bomb will take him down. And Endpoint, I'm going to go to 2. But I like that Sixer stays in the ruins and goes down with the bomb instead of actually giving the AWP away, or giving the chance to get that AWP into the hands of Endpoint. I think it's very important to take a note of.
Yeah, it's a very different scenario where you're not investing into the AWP, but if there's one on the ground, you might be tempted to take it if you're Endpoint, even if it's not a part of the initial game plan. Not having to make that harsh economic decision. But that's now twice LDLC have bitten down on that sort of fake presence towards A. And although Surreal didn't make his presence known in the end, something that LDLC may be privy to now, not going to bite that on that same fake. May not cheat those rotations over. Look at the stack towards A. They don't have as much weaponry. They still got a good amount of utility, but they're really doubling down on this.
Well, Robin catching Sixer. Nice opening for Endpoint. A lot of utility being used up in towards A. They still have that pillar of support over towards B. So if they decide to go back there, Thomas is going to be the linchpin in that attack. So they could fake up in towards A and decide to run back B if they desire. But Gringo, he's going to catch Surreal. Logan looking down towards short. Now, this is where Endpoint might just capitalize on Thomas having quite a bit of control here. Lambert is the only player here, and he's got a CZ. Rotation's coming quickly through from Hadji, but they need to capitalize on this. They need to shut down Lambert quickly, and that's exactly what they'll do. But the rotation has come in quickly enough for Hadji to be able to pick away Thomas, and still into a 3v3. An equilibrium yet again established. Well, the time is ticking. The bomb is on the floor. Hadji's looking for shots to the smoke, but they're just not coming through yet. I see too many players don't actually know that lineup. It's kind of strange. It's a little too high there.
Oh, the spam may not be successful, but the flash is certainly good. Crucial. Gunned out from the upper position. Max trying to get them before they approach the site, and Robin's been able to trade one back. It's brought to the one-on-one. Hadji and Robin, that's to finish off 3Ks each to finish it, but Robin will get the better. Bring a third round for Endpoint, and another scrappy endeavor, but it's another B-site end for Endpoint.
Yeah, that's brilliant stuff for Endpoint in the end, though. Robin having to come in with a clutch, and it doesn't matter that they they lose so many players, because finally the money is gone for LDLC. This is where Endpoint can build that economy. They've won the battle of attrition, and now Endpoint might just be able to grind their way back in to this first half. It was looking pretty dire for them. You have to remember, it was 7-1 up for LDLC. Things were looking good for the French side. And so now they have to try and change that fact. Endpoint, they've got the AWP in the hands of Crucial this time around. The AK's in play, and the 1 Mac 10 in the hands of Thomas. And if there's something Thomas has always been good at, it's getting these eco kills.
Yeah, I don't know how he's able to consistently perform with the SMG. I think Cody coined him as the just the SMG expert of the UK. And he may as well be. With how slow Endpoint have been playing in these rounds, you would expect they don't get caught off by a stack like this from LDLC. Pretty methodical thus far. And they can always just send Thomas in, like you said, to farm those ecos if you can. They've heard nothing on the bomb site. They've heard no reaction to all these nades, and while Thomas, Robin, they all line up for nice frags, Six are able to actually catch them off guard. Good damage on towards Crucial as well. The jiggle peaks work out, and they're just not killing him. Sixer is unhittable, it seems. Been able to get himself an AK and get out of dodge.
Well, Sixer.
I don't know how he's masterminded that.
Yeah, he's just going to steal an AK. It's daylight robbery. Brings it into the next round here at Endpoint. 4 on the board, though. They do win a round, but a little bit expensive there. They would have liked to have won this as cleanly as possible to build that money up.
I don't know if that's the type of play that's called by Sixer himself. It's like, you guys all peek that side. I'm going to be in the cubby over here, chilling. Because that was a full bait and switch setup specifically for Sixer. And, well, the 3 players that, are lined up together, hopefully they hit some shots as well. Yeah, you're definitely right. That battle of attrition, the momentum has begun to shift. Endpoint are getting a lot more success in getting into these sites. We haven't seen that same level of impact that we saw from Crucial as on the last map. Hasn't had as many opportunities. Well, LDLC, they can't afford up the AWP on Sixer himself as well. Just rifles across the field and, well, actually missing out on a few smokes as well.
Well, utility being tossed down in towards the bottom of Banana. It's Lambert that'll take away Thomas. Crucial able to come through, and Lambert gone. Now Crucial looking for more. He's got a good kill as Lambert's picked off. He'll keep firing through the smoke, hoping for a little bit of success as the Molotov will burn the position of the logs, but it doesn't matter because Logan actually gets away with his life somehow. Back up towards top Banana, so still a 4v4. Mighty Max has got himself through the archway, and he might just be dropping Logan here. As he goes through CT, it's all on to timing, whether or not Mighty Max is looking the right way when he comes around the corner. Mighty Max turns around, looks towards the library, and Logan will take him down. Now it's on Robin. Can he pull it off? Of course he can.
They may suspect the first, but the second is...
Hadji's caught between 2 players, right? 3 players right now. You gotta be careful here.
I mean, Hadji's positioning has been so good so far in this game. He's prepared for the one on the flank. He knows that's the one that killed his teammate in the arches, and so stands what's in front of him. Surreal does catch him out before he gets anywhere further into the site. Those can go down in a 2v2, and they have a kit available. Sixer wields that, has a smoke and a flash as well to operate with. Actually, no, those are 2 flashes.
Well, they start to walk up through Banana. Gringo and Sixer looking for the way back in, but they're completely buried inside of the site right now. Crucial fully blinded. Molotov in his hands though, and that could be the deciding factor. Crucial throws the HE on in as well. That's buying some crucial time for them. No pun intended. Well, Sixer's going to catch the reel. They have to be aware that the AWP is still back here. He's still rattling shots off, but one just needs to cover the other. As the defuse comes through, it's Gringo pulling it off, and the defuse in from LDLC. A successful retake from Sixer and Gringo, and that's just really well played. Brilliant flash buying. That's what wins them that round, I think.
Yeah, forcing Crucial back. And just forcing Endpoint into very isolated duels. Helped out a ton in doubling up, making sure that they use that numbers advantage in the isolated gunfights. Well, LDLC reinvest back into it. A close round, but one that they'll be happy with. They've secured a half victory. They have Sixer back on the AWP. And well, we talked about how there might be a breaking point. Crucial on his own AWP as well on the T side. It does indicate that Endpoint are going for a much slower approach. Especially with Crucial seemingly struggling for the Endpoint side. Missed a lot of shots in that retake and approach to the site.
On the smoke coming up in towards the long side of brackets. It's going to cover off Hadji and Sixer. So this deep smoke, it kind of prevents that boost. A lot of teams will get that boost going on up so the AWP can see over the top of the smoke and potential players running out of middle. And so that deeper smoke that's thrown, you kind of shift walk when you throw it from outside second middle, and it prevents that boost. So that's neutralized that opportunity for Sixer. And well, Hadji's going to catch out Robin, so the advantage still going in favor of LDLC, but now the A attack coming through. Endpoint are fully committed to this. Sixer in the site has Gringo to help him out in the corner, and it's working out well for the defense. It's on to Surreal and Crucial now to try and pull off the impossible. That's only 1 kill, and now Crucial having to flee the scene.
His rotation might be cut off here. Trying to escape. Logan had him on the retreat, but with him being taken out, Crucial can save this AWP into the following round. LDLC don't seem too interested in chasing him down, given that their money isn't in a great spot. And so they'll just be content with the round win instead. Containing Endpoint to 4 or 5 rounds on the T side certainly applies a lot of pressure if they finish the half like this. Means that the pistol bears a whole lot more importance. Of course, we're still a couple of rounds away from that. I don't know how Endpoint will they've actually forced right back into it. A full commitment around the AWP of Crucial. They're not expecting that he'll be given the good graces to save this twice in a row, and so look to buy up alongside him so that the economy is flat and even.
Well, this is a nice little boost. This I like the innovation that's coming in from LDLC, something that was completely non-existent on Vertigo. Well, Sixer spots the barrel, knows the AWP is top middle, and now it's all under the patient play, hoping that the flash buying is ineffective, and it won't be. But there's a double stack boiler, and there's no way they expect this.
Yeah, they seem unprepared. Gringo with the first. Ooh, swift kill from Robin to trade one back. Thomas as well, creeping through the arch smoke. LDLC have gotten caught out and unaware. Hadji just trying to stay alive in the apartments, finds an isolated fight, but Thomas dispatches of him, and while Logan, it's a rotationary play through the arches. Let Endpoint have the site on lock. They have great spread out post plants as well. There should be some early indicators as to where Logan's coming from, and while Robin just hits the shot anyway, the smoke would have denied vision, denied access, and Endpoint do finally grind out a 5th. That got a little bit worrisome. I almost feel as though if they'd stuck with the double play in towards Boiler, these could have been a little bit more dire for the Endpoint guys.
Yeah, but they do get the round over and done with. I definitely think LDLC probably should have had a better fight there, but in the end, it goes in favor of Endpoint. And now they've got a better buy coming into the last round of the half as well. So this is the prime opportunity for Endpoint to grab 6. And I think they'll be very happy with grabbing 6 rounds, considering the way this started. But that is not the start they would be looking for coming into this round. They've lost 2 players immediately.
Crucial's been dinked too.
This is the perfect start for the CT side. They've still got a player on T-spawn. He's just going to get the bomb. What is happening here for Endpoint? This is absolutely horrible for them.
Even if realistically they had some semblance of map control, they'd have to slow things down so dramatically just based on the health. And the fact that these weapons have been recovered. This is exactly what you don't want to see. The Endpoint guys slowly approach towards the B site, and they found the weaker of the 2 sites. Logan's still able to get away with at least 1.
Oh, this has to be huge. This has to be a brilliant 2v4, and while Crucial needs to land the shot immediately, he will. And now he goes back forward. There's barely any utility left. Just 1 flashbang and an itchy grenade, but Crucial is incredibly low. So that itchy is solid. The flash doesn't quite hit the mark, but still, the shot is through. The Molotov deploys, and now Crucial needs to reposition. They're going to try and charge through, but it's Crucial with 1 on the Molotov. Couldn't quite land the shot, so it's now all on Surreal. 2 angles to check, and he's nearly got it done, but it's 6 that overruns him. A 10th round on the board for LDLC. Yet another successful retake. And my god, that is a round Endpoint are wanting to forget. That start was just horrible for them.
Yeah, almost bailed out by the 2 versus 4 attempt. Just the leg shot as well in towards the arches. Maybe he's able to go back and take that fight had it not been a flubbed opportunity at a kill. At LDLC, a good set of rounds on the CT side, overcoming obstacles even when they don't have the weaponry advantage. And just being a lot more cohesive than we were seeing on the previous map.
Yeah, but it wasn't the prettiest half of Counter-Strike, I have to say. You made a lot of crazy scenarios coming through, a lot of clutches, a lot of scrappy CS overall. And well, LDLC will come out the better for it. We'll see if Endpoint have anything up their sleeve on the CT side, or will we be fighting for that 3rd map? And we have already seen Endpoint go to quite a few overtimes in the past maps. We've just seen them play, or you seen them play in particular. And so we know they're no stranger to the long match. So they're in for the long haul. They're strapped in. They're ready to go.
Yep, as with all things. Said it earlier as well. More importance placed on the pistol round because of the scoreline. Well, I mean, a couple of warning shots darted down mid early on. No real signs of anything significant. It's real angered by the noise of the chicken. Out of the apartments they go. They fall right on top of Surreal. The fact that he even gets 1 is a bit of a miracle in its own right, but he's dropped the bomb in the process, but they've lost all presence towards A. They'd gone for a heavier B-sided defense with these pistols. Robin had rotated round, Max with the kit as well in the smoke, but they can set up for this 3v3 retake.
Mighty Max with the smoke at the ready. It's going to deploy in towards the side itself as they try and make their way back in. And they're going to be moving forward. Thomas, the front man, is starting to run around the corner with Robin. Logan just in the corner. It's Hadji with 1. Robin able to pick him up with the headshot. And now it's all on to Mighty Max and Robin looking for it all. But it's a clean pickup for Hadji in the end. 3 kills into the pistol round. 11-5. Now this is starting to look pretty one-sided. As LDLC win that pistol, they'll be off to the races here in the second half.
Yeah, extremely comfortable. And should they push us into a 3rd map? We talked a bit about how LDLC had played quite a lot of Dust 2. Endpoint have done so as well. We're talking about how maybe it's a good set of maps for Endpoint in these last 2, but if Inferno goes their way, Dust 2 is a bit of a wild card. Never really know what to expect, even on teams that are very well versed or very well practiced on Dust.
Yeah, I'm going to expect a real scrappy affair out of you. I think we're definitely going to be seeing that come through. It's Dust 2 is never one that's easily predicted, right? Because you never really know what's going to happen on it. I'm glad it's a 3rd map, and these teams haven't decided to pick it, though.
Yeah. A strange set of maps in general. And as Thomas has bought the Nova.
Well, that's even stranger. that's not the most orthodox of purchases, that's for sure.
There's just better shotguns.
Yep, and better pistols.
Yeah.
So, well, we'll see. I've seen some wild things done from a few players here on the Nova on Inferno. Let's hope that Thomas is one of them.
You have a very specific scenario.
Yeah.
You've seen this happen before.
Yeah, I have. And it's with,
that's worrying to me.
With Harry Russell
I see.
on matchmaking. that's all I've ever seen it happen with.
Not maybe taking a page out of his book. Don't know whose demos they're watching. Similar to how LDLC set up, Max was the solitary player over at B. He has called for an additional supportive element. It will be Robin, deploying his own smoke and actually trying to take the initial brunt of the aggression in towards B, but falls back and Max suffers as a result. The smoke's down as well. There's no real chance of Endpoint getting back into this bomb site. And well, as unfortunate as it may be, we may not get to see the Nova really fire at anybody.
Well, that's a little unfortunate. Anticlimactic to the highest extent. Well, 12-5. Yumi, how has this happened? How have we just gone into a flip reverse here for Endpoint? They should have been able to compete a lot better here. I think they could have, you know. If they pick up a few more rounds in that first half, there was a load of close 1v1s and clutch scenarios that certainly could have went the way of Endpoint. We could be looking at a very different scenario here. But LDLC caught a little bit of luck, and I think they were due it because Vertigo just did not go their way whatsoever.
I think it's just strange to see the difference in how both teams are approaching these seaside rounds, even just already. We saw just a lot of sort of map control taken by Endpoint, and they wanted to do a few more mind games, it felt like. Try to be a bit more cute about how they're executing these sites, and before they could even get into good map control positions when they were on their own T side, LDLC were taking fights, and they were typically winning them. So, in disparity to that, LDLC are playing a lot slower and just a bit more grouped up and going for just straight site commitments. They seem more comfortable just doing that.
Well, running forward, Gringo with the Mac-10 gets one on towards Thomas. Mighty Max coming back in as well on the headshot. But this should be a relatively clean round yet again with LDLC just storming their way into the B bomb site, settling in, getting the bomb planted, and now Endpoint. They've got two sets of heavy armor, so they might as well save that. I think you've got to carry that over. You've got some smokes as well. There's no point in throwing this away for no real reason. So they'll be looking to carry those over into the next round. A little bit of a hunt coming in from Robin, going a little push down the C apartments, but other than that, we shouldn't really be seeing too much.
We've seen another round where Thomas had to check, but he missed it. The Nova
It's disappointing.
remains, and yeah, just a disappointment. Well, this could very well end, like you've kind of been alluding to, in a similar fashion to Vertigo, but just the other way around. I think we were both right in saying that when we'd seen them on Vertigo, it was a bit of a poor indicator. Weren't really sure what we were getting ourselves into. Like, should this even be two teams matched up against each other? Why have they even let that through the pool if that's as poor a performer as that? Maybe just a good bit of practice against a better Vertigo team.
Yeah.
Take the practice where you can get it sometimes.
Yeah, you can take a look at that demo, see all the stuff they got called out on, learn a few things. Did that bullet just go straight through the legs? I think it did. And now it's going to be run down by the Mac-10. Oh no, that's not the start you'd be hoping for coming into the first gun round of the second half. It's over and done with, really. Surreal having to show up. He's going to drop Hadji, but the A bomb site's completely under wraps.
Yeah, at the very least, it could be a thorn in their side. Just be disruptive, shoot out from the apartments every so often. Again, that fast flanking presence, but at least it is known for LDLC. They're contained in towards these sites at the very least. At that point, they need this retake to go well. Otherwise, this is a shutout performance from the Frenchman. Looking towards the site does mean that pit and graveyard are isolated, but the utility, the counter utility at that from LDLC, so far so good. It's a 1-for-1 traded towards the pit. Lambert in towards graveyard does get spotted out. They found the trades that they're looking for here on the endpoint side, but Logan around the smoke sixer as well. They're able to combine in tow, and Logan hits the one tap to finish off the round. He'll go up with the bomb, but that's 14 for LDLC, a 9-round difference as they approach what is potentially the end of map 2.
Yeah, and these odds have certainly dropped drastically here now with LDLC. They started on 6.5, I believe, coming into this map, and now 3, so...
Yep.
1.36 for Endpoint, not really feeling it here on Inferno. Dust 2 should be a bit of a different story. I think we're going to see 2 one-sided maps in the first 2 maps here, and then Dust 2 should be a battle. That should be a real close one. So lock yourself in for that. That should be coming up very shortly, because Endpoint don't really have too much left here in the bank. They're going to be half investing here. Thomas fully investing, but for the most part, they're playing for overtime.
And a fast initial rush play from LDLC over towards Banana. If they get the picks, they just end towards B, but because nobody is peeking, now they go back to a bit more standardized mid control. Still just making use of the numbers as well. It's that herd immunity.
Well, that's a bit of a talking point at the minute. Just under a minute left on the clock. Surreal is going to toss the smoke down in towards short. One of the apartments as well from Thomas to prevent Logan from seeing what's going on. Smoke really severing the information flow of the CT side even, so he's going to peek into the open. It's going to be Thomas taking down Gringo, and that's the smoke dropped into the apartments. 40 seconds left, Crucial. He's going to be under a little bit of pressure now over towards Long, and Lambert just around the corner. Could be potentially taking him down shortly here, but Crucial realizes the risk involved in standing in that spot. So he'll go back over towards the archway. It's on to Surreal now, who will be tested inside of the pit. Now, it is a strong position, especially with the assistance of Thomas up on the balcony. The flash is going to come over the top. That's the bomb dropped, and Thomas is going to descend from the heavens and drop for more. It's Lambert gone in this round, picked out for Endpoint. One that desperately looked like it was going in favor of LDLC, but not the case. It's Endpoint with a 6th round.
Yeah, after the initial pressure towards B, they spend so much time clearing out the apartments. They lose the bomb carrier at the end of the apartments as well, with about 40 seconds left, and just left in a bit of turmoil. Some good timing on the kills from Endpoint to finally break the spree, but they need way more like it.
Well, Hellcase. Go use the code SLTV15 for 15% on your refill bonus. Not bad. And Hellcase, obviously the main sponsor here at the Hell Cup. It does all add up, just like all the other ones.
Wait, what other ones?
The Hellcase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Ah. Well, we'll see if they can combine from 6, 7. Maybe get to an 8 if they're Endpoint. They're really hoping that they can bring this one back. Robin, long distance shots not going to hit. Sixer has gunned them down on the approach to A, and he can get this bomb planted. Thomas is the last remaining player, and while he has been given the tank engine name after the end of it, little nickname from the UK scene, I don't think he can quite so easily plow into the site, especially with Logan holding the cross towards short.
Well, Logan shutting down Thomas. Map point reach for LDLC. It should be an easy one in the bag coming up. If in terms of the map win, probably not for the next few rounds. You're going to have a bit of resistance coming in from Endpoint. Going with the double op setup coming in. Thomas and Crucial picking up the opposite rest, scrapping together what they can. There's enough utility to be competitive here, but potentially this could be the end for Endpoint.
Yeah, don't see a realistic way in which they come back from this in any meaningful way. They can call on some of their heroic performances that they've had in the past. As any number of these players can step up in a moment. And they'll need to, unfortunately, call on all of them at once, because it's individual performances that have been really struggling. Max trying to lock out the banana position, flashed out. Both B-site players are dead. This is an easy call to go B by LDLC, and well, they're just picking them apart, even on the rotations. Robin will try desperately to claw this one back. He's found the first. He knows that there's a bit of a lurking pressure from Haji. Oh, and he almost lines it up, but he flubs the opportunity. That's a shutout performance on Inferno by LDLC.